Welcome, everyone. I already see a couple of folks. Hi, Catherine. All right. Hopefully you saw the email, a little bit about our class. Hi. And then, of course, I mean, folks who come every week know this by now, but optional is a bolster or a pillow. So we'll give folks a couple minutes to get settled. I'll check everyone in. Just let go of the day, the week. We get an hour to ourselves. It's gonna be nice. Everyone had a great week, a great day. It was beautiful outside. Really, really nice. Hello, Colleen. Of course, always optional to keep your screen darkened, to turn off your camera. That's totally fine. Hello, Cynthia. All right, more folks are joining. Hello, Catherine. Give folks a minute or two to join, and we'll just get started. The nice thing about Zoom is that folks can just kind of come on in. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. Just come on out to the center of your space, wherever that is. We start with some breath work. All right. In our opening posture here, it's totally your choice where you want to be. If you want to be laying down on your back, or you want to be seated in a cross-legged position, maybe you find some pose with your bolster, leaning back over it, putting it underneath of your knees, whatever works for you. Like I said, we're just gonna settle into our space, roll our shoulders back and down. Maybe take a couple of circles with the neck. Whatever you need to do to find your centered, grounded space here. tonight is all about renewal, washing away what we don't need, inviting what we do need to grow, to expand. Begin to take a few deepening breaths. Relaxing the air, aiming to warm it on the way out. Feel that cooling sensation on the way in. Feeling the cooling air washing in, coming down all the way to the base of the lungs, and then exhaling, sending it out through the crown of the head. We don't have to stay rigid here. If as the breath travels through the spine, through the lungs, we need some movement to go along with it, straightening up the spine, maybe curving up the upper back, whatever feels natural and intuitive to the body, go ahead and take that. One step at a time, we move forward. One step at a time. Each breath is like a ripple, getting a little bit deeper, but not expecting complete change with the next breath, just a little bit. If your brain starts to wander, make the breath louder, the loudest voice in the room, amplifying that breath. Amplify your voice. A couple more here. We commit to 5 more rounds of this deepening breath. Ripple your breath. Each time a little bit deeper on the inhale, a little bit longer with the exhale. Tonight's practice is a gentle vinyasa flow for the beginning of our practice. And then we'll close down our practice with a restorative ending and some meditation. But knowing that a lot of us are familiar with vinyasa, my challenge to you this evening is to pace yourself, going up the mountain, any mountain that we have in our lives, is not done by leaps, it's done by steps, baby steps leading up. So while we may want to throw our bodies into these postures right away, see what mindful breathing can do and rippling that motion each time getting a little bit deeper. We may find much greater release, much deeper practice as a result. After your last breath, hands come to heart center. We open our practice with one Om. You have options here. You can either take a breath Om, inhaling with us, exhaling just the breath. You can level up a tiny bit from there. You can exhale, Or if you'd like to take the full Om, knowing that probably no one can hear you, there is no problem. If it sounds a little bit funky, go ahead and take that. Whatever your choice is, we inhale for Om. Exhale. Feeling the vibrations open the practice. Take one more breath here. Big exhale. We're beginning our practice on from a seated position. We're coming into a gentle butterfly stretch. To begin to open the hips, I'm just going to scoot backwards here. But wherever you are in your space, find your heels and your feet coming together in front of your tailbone, right in the center. Legs can be wide, they can be close in, it's up to you. Option to grab around the ankles if that feels good to help lengthen the spine. Take an inhale, lengthen and grow. Exhale, start to fold from the hips. If your legs are close, you can use your elbows, your arms to help bring yourself down. If your legs are wider, maybe the elbows come inside the knees. We'll stay here for a minute, so find your edge and see if you can hold. Remembering that climbing up that mountain is done by baby steps. So find your edge. Breathe, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink and fold. Continue to breathe here. Even when you feel like you are running out of space, running out of time, remember time is only one measure of progress and growth. We are always surrounded by reminders to speed up, to go faster, to sink deeper, to be more productive. Right here, we let that go. We sink, we release, and we find that deepening stretch through surrender rather than through productivity, through rushing. Sink and continue to fold. We have 5 more breaths. As you get deeper, you may experience some sensation in the outside of the hips. Send your breath there. Release the tightness with the breath. After your last breath, press yourself up gently. We're coming into a flow. We have a heart opener, and then we fold into our butterfly pose. So again, releasing that urge to come deeper and muscle into it every time. Find that flow using breath to guide you. So begin to start to move your torso up and forward. You don't have to find your edge all the way. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Take this as slow or as fast as you'd like. On your next inhale, option to find cactus arms, chest opener. Exhale, send them long. Inhale, scooping through the belly, opening the chest. Exhale, fold. Take 3 more. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, rippling deeper each time, releasing the shoulders from the ears. After your last exhale, hold in your forward fold. Maybe walk your hands over to the right, pressing back into that left hip. Inhale, come back to center, walk your hands over to the left. Right hand comes on top, sink back into the right hip. And inhale back to center. We're gonna press ourselves up. Knees come behind. We come to a kneeling position. We're going to take a few chest openers. From here, your option is to come completely down on the tops of the feet. Or if you'd like to make this a little more active in the lower body, warming up the back of the feet for our first down dog, tuck the toes and allow a gentle stretch through the arches of the feet. If this becomes too much, you can always come back down. Whichever kneeling position works for you, arms sweep behind the back, fingers interlace, palms press together, open the chest. Inhale, expand. Exhale, arms come closer back behind the body. One more breath. One more exhale, let the hands go. One arm comes in front of the chest, gently warming up the shoulders. Maybe we feel that heat in the back of the feet. Let them start to expand, always coming down if you need. Inhale, switch arms. And exhale, pull across the chest. Releasing the shoulder from the ear. Shoulder blades rolling back and down. One more breath. One more exhale, coming into a tabletop position. Knees right underneath of hips, wrists right underneath of shoulders. We're expanding on that shoulder stretch. Maybe rock hips side to side, releasing that low back. And then we inhale, one arm, doesn't matter which one, rises all the way up. Find a chest twist. And then exhale, send the arm down underneath of the front arm. Find threading the needle pose or a shoulder opener. When I say or, it's just two names for the same thing. So it's the same posture. As you're pressing into the grounded shoulder, option to kickstand your back foot. So it might look like this. Back foot gains a little bit of leverage so that you can really push yourself over. Only if that feels good. Side of the head or cheek on the mat. Again, releasing the shoulders from the ears. We want to have them creep up. Hold for 3 more breaths. On your next inhale, drop the knee if it was lifted, pressing into your grounded hand. Sweep that opposite hand up and then rotate it down to the mat. Couple little circles with the hips. We're coming into a child's pose as a reset before we find side two. Knees come as wide as the mat, or whichever width works for you. Toes come together, pressing the hips back, arms come forward. Release the head down to the mat. Making this child's pose a little bit more active, still warming up the body here. Elbows are off the mat, pressing into the hands and the fingertips to find more of a release through the upper back. One more breath. One more exhale. Start to walk yourself back up, coming back to that neutral tabletop. We're finding side two. So opposite arm reaches up. Inhale, gaze at the top hand. Exhale, sweep that arm underneath. Now option to kickstand the other foot. Only if it works. Both sides can be absolutely different. Forehead on the mat, side of the forehead. If your shoulder feels like it's in your ear, just pick up the head and take it a little farther forward. One more breath. One more exhale. Inhale, reverse out how you came into it. And exhale, hand meets the earth. One more circle of the hips before we find our first down dog. Coming to stillness. Walk the hands out just a little bit so that our position is better fitting our down dog for that length. Toes tuck, firming through the core, tailbone tucks under. Inhale, hover, and exhale, press into the heels. Heels are feet. Feet are 6 inches apart. We'll stay here for just a moment, really finding that stretch. Make this down dog your best one yet. If you've had a down dog earlier in the day, how can you make this one more what you need right now? Whether it's more restorative, whether it's a little more active, pressing into the hands. Feeling the back line of the legs really stretch here. One more breath. One more exhale, gaze shifts up, baby steps to meet the hands. Coming up for a halfway lift, hands meet the shins, crown of head reaches forward. Exhale, bend, big forward fold. Inhale, arms rise all the way back up, standing up. And exhale, pull the hands down to heart center. Hold here. Fluttering the eyes open. We're going to take the opposite of a sun salutation. We're going to call them moon salutations tonight. So instead of inhale, arms sweeping up, what we're going to do is inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, we fold down. So taking our day through our hands, exhaling it down to the earth. The main bulk of our salutation will stay the same, but this small change will help us release the day. Come with me. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, big dive down. Inhale for a halfway lift, hands meet the shins. Exhale, plant the hands. Step one foot back, other foot back. Find your high plank. Holding in your plank. Couple breaths here. Now option to lower the knees. Take your chaturanga from the kneeling position, or you can come from the toes. Inhaling, shift forward. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, scoop up for upward facing dog. And exhale, scoop through the low belly. Roll over the toes, down dog. You can take that whole sequence kneeling, just lowering down to the mat, coming up for a baby cobra, tucking the toes, pressing through tabletop and up to down dog. Do what you need, do what feels best in the body. Inhale, gaze shifts forward, travel to meet your hands. Find a halfway lift. And exhale, big fold. Inhale, bring hands to center, rise them all the way back up. And exhale, fold again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your feet back to your plank. One more flow through your vinyasa. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, low push up. Inhale, shift up, upward facing dog. And exhale, scoop through the low belly, tuck the toes, down dog. Inhale, travel to meet your hands. Rippling this movement a little bigger each time. Find a halfway lift, lengthening just a little more. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands at heart center, sweeping them all the way up. Exhale, big fold, last time. Inhale, halfway lift, spine lengthens. Exhale, plant the hands. Now option to bend both arms, both knees, and shoot yourself back. Do a low push-up. Coming up to upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. If that doesn't work, do whatever serves your body best. But knowing that this is the most heat we are building all evening. Know that, pace yourself. Go where you can go. Inhale, travel to meet your hands, halfway lift. And exhale, big forward fold. Inhale, arms sweep all the way up. And exhale, folding down again this time. I'll turn and face you. Toe heel the feet out wider. So we come into a wide leg forward fold here. One hand, doesn't matter which one, is going to place in front of the face, right center. And then the opposite hand comes up. Now right away, our hips want to shift. See if you can keep them centered, twisting from the torso all the way up. Now, of course, if that doesn't feel good, you can come into a lunge position, bending one knee, the knee of the lifted arm, and stretching into the inner thigh of the opposite leg. But if you're not intentionally in the lunge, try to keep your hips centered, square to the floor. Option to bend that top arm to find a half bind, whatever works for you. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Replace that hand. Inhale, find the opposite side. Two sides could be completely different. Pay attention and listen to what your body tells you. Baby steps. Rippling that motion. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, back down through center. Toe heel your feet in just a little bit. We're coming down to a reset, a Malasana squat. So sending your hips back. Finding hands at heart center, using the elbows to press the knees open. Hold here, lengthening the spine. Couple more breaths. Can you feel that breath travel into the back? Feeling the back expand with your inhale, contract with your exhale. Beautiful job. One more inhale. One more exhale. Release the hands to the mat. Press the hips high. And then toe heel the feet in. We find a halfway lift. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant the hands. Right foot is gonna step back. Lower the knee. Left foot should be in front. Come to finger pads and rise up. Inhale and grow long, grow tall. Exhale, sink into the front knee, stretching out that opposite hip flexor. Option for arms to come back behind. Finding that chest opener again. Shoulders drop away from the ears. If your hands are back behind, option to bend that back knee. Maybe you grab a hold of that back foot, one arm, both arms. 2 more breaths. Closing the ribs in, allow yourself to lift. Hands sweep up and come down to the mat. Take a vinyasa here to clear, to wash away any tension, or just tuck that back foot. Allow the front foot to meet it in a downward dog. Once you get there, take a big clearing breath and an exhale. Inhale, right leg lifts. And exhale, bring it through. Right leg should be in front. Lower the back knee. Come to finger pads and rise. Same sequence, other side. Inhale, grow long, grow tall. And exhale, sink into that front knee. Option for arms to sweep back again, finding a chest opener or reaching for that back foot. Balance challenge as well. Hold and breathe. Two more breaths. After your last exhale, release the hands onto the mat. Leg sweeps back. Option for one last vinyasa. Coming into a down dog. Or widen the legs, sit your hips back, and meet us in a child's pose. If you're in your down dog, when you're ready, widen the knees and meet us here in our child's pose. Torso comes as low to the mat, to the earth as possible. Option to bend the elbows, interlace behind the head. Then you release through the triceps, through the shoulder joint, pressing down, allowing that release to happen instead of forcing it to happen. Last breath. And last exhale, press yourself up. We're coming into a seated sequence here. Legs come around in front. We begin first with a seated forward fold. We've been warming up, kind of gradually getting ourselves deeper into that low back stretch. Right here, we find perhaps the deepest forward fold we've found yet, because our legs have to be straight, have to be static since they're on the ground, right? So this is often a very difficult one to start with, but an easier one later on in our practice. If you have a pillow, now might be a good time to use it, maybe placing it on top of the legs. It might limit the motion, but you can, or your range of motion, you can always send it longer so that the torso can fold even more at the hips. And it just gives you a goal to relax into. Come find us in a seated forward fold, maybe reaching for the feet if it's accessible for you. Continuing to breathe, allowing the breath to deepen the stretch. If you have one cheek turned to the pillow or to your legs, option to reverse that, turn the other way. Wherever you are, take 3 more breaths. After your last exhale, walk yourself up. Option 2, remove the pillow. We're going to come into a low crouch position, coming up to the peak of our class and our transition point. In your low crouch, allow the back of the heels to open up. Head and torso release. And then drop your heels to the earth. Press into the hands to lift the hips, finding a standing forward fold. Can you access that same feeling, that same length that you just found? Inhaling, rising up bit by bit, the slower the better, until you reach a standing position. Shoulders roll down and back. Hands open, finding your mountain pose. Inhale, weight shifts to the left foot, right foot comes to a hover. Firming through the core. Use the low belly to lift the knee. Option for hands to clasp around the right knee. You can stay here or start to fold like our forward fold. Walk the hands down, coming underneath of the right foot. Firming through the left foot, allow the torso to rise, lifting and extending. Option to bend the torso, add that forward fold back in. If you start to wobble, come out and come right back in. We won't be here for long. Go where you cannot stay. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently reverse out. Come down to the earth. Shoulder roll, maybe gentle torso shift. Exhale, let it go. Other side. Putting all of our folding work together, all of that rippling, growing deeper, adding balance. Right leg carries the weight. Left leg rises using that core. Hands clasp around the left knee. Option to stay here, working on that balance, or start to bend at the hips, walk the torso down. Walk the hands down, clasping underneath the left foot. Inhale, rise, straighten and lengthen the left foot. Holding here. Maybe you start to bend the elbows. Find that forward fold. We hold for 5, for 3, 2, and 1. Release out. Big moon salutation, flow. Inhaling and exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, roll yourself up very, very, very slowly. Shoulder blades roll back and down. Coming to the earth, we find our pillow or bolster once more. We're coming down into our basic relaxation pose. Laying down on the back, bolster or pillow goes underneath of the knees. This is a reset for our spine, especially the low back, which may feel fatigued after our practice so far. You choose your positioning in this pose, how close your hips are to the bolster or how far away, whatever feels good in the low back. Option to tuck the tailbone under if you feel space. Woo, right away. I don't know about you, but I feel a lot of motion in the low back. You can use your hands to act as a guide, gently allowing yourself to release if you feel any pain or tension in the back. Option, if this is too much, you can come onto the bolster, hips on top of the bolster, coming into a restorative bridge pose. Knees bent at 90 degrees, hips are on top of the bolster. Provides a little bit of support for the low back, kind of an in-between. to the complete back on the mat. Beginning to release, really letting your hips go. If you still sense that you're holding in the hip flexors, go ahead and walk the legs long. Where's the breath? Deepening the exhale. Invite it into this stretch. Make it active here. Taking 3 more inhales, 3 more exhales. After your last exhale, very gently, we start to walk ourselves up using the arms to help you lift. We're coming into a side opener. So I'm going to leave my pillow where it is. This is a variation of a stretch we've done before, where one hip comes up to the side of the bolster. But instead of twisting, this time we're just bending our torso down, front arm comes out, head reaches for the earth, top arm comes overhead. We're going for a stretch through the obliques here, creating that curve in the spine to help us access. Your lifted shoulder, can you bring it down and away from the ear? Sending breath into the side body. Allowing the ribs to expand outwards, front to back. Five more breaths here. Beautiful job. If you find yourself fighting to move faster, deeper, know that what you are doing here is enough. It's exactly where you are meant to be. Sometimes the hardest work we do is in stillness. Sit with it here. Know that this is enough. After your last exhale, use the lifted arm to gently press yourself up. We're coming to the opposite side. Either you move the pillow, or I like to just move myself, shifting around, opposite hip coming up to the bolster or pillow, sending the torso down, perpendicular to your pillow. Front arm comes forward and sending your torso up and over. Sending the breath into the side body, allowing it to expand. 5 more breaths here. After your last exhale, using the top arm to press yourself up, we're coming into our Shavasana, our resting pose. This is completely your choice. Use the pillow however works best for you. Maybe it's behind your head. Maybe it's behind your knees. If you took that supported bridge earlier, maybe now you are ready for the basic relaxation pose, as we call it, or bolster under the knees to reset that low back. That's where I'm headed this evening, but take whatever works best for you, walking yourself back. Once you get there, big shoulder roll back and down, feeling like the chest is actively opening. Arms come out to the side, palms face up. Release through the hip flexors, let everything go. Melt into the mat. Continuing to deepen the breath here. Allowing the practice to release. May you remember today that grace exists far beyond what you can see. May we trust in the process of growth, one step at a time, knowing that we are enough, and every effort we make on this journey is a valid choice. Continuing to expand the lungs, inhaling, exhaling out. Deepening the breath, knowing that markers of time, clocks, deadlines, things that we focus on will always be around, but they don't always lead us into peace, joy, grace, love, hope. These are the things that fulfill our lives. So why not invite those into our space, our bodies, our choice of how we use our time. Allowing grace for the steps on the in-between, on the journey. Surrendering to the journey. Take one final breath here. One exhale, sending that breath to the heart space. Staying in our Shavasana, we bring hands to heart center. We close our practice with the Om that began our practice. Now through this hour we've had together, see if your desire for how you express this Om has changed, or has it stayed the same? Both are valid. Both are steps to be honored. Whether your breath is your Om, whether your Om is a hum, or whether your Om is a full vibration sound. Inhale for Om. Exhale. Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Thank you for spending your time with us this evening. Your energy is seen, noticed, and appreciated. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and an even better week. Namaste. Stay here in Shavasana as long as you'd like. If you have any questions or comments, I'm here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on our more active practice this evening. Do you like it? Do you prefer a more gentle practice closing down the week? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week, Catherine.
You too.
Have a wonderful night, Catherine. Have a wonderful week as well.